procurement is probably the biggest area of change at the moment and most difficult, because we always talk about scope 1, scope 2, scope 3.
Absolutely.
Procurement is all your scope 3, and it's the hardest one to control. You could do the easy things yourself, as in the things that you can control directly.
Yep.
But scope 3 always seems to be the one that is hardest to control. I am starting to see now bigger organizations now starting to take control. And the easiest way is procurement, isn't it?
It is. It's one of our sort of key focuses for the last 6 months, and we're going onwards, of course, but especially with the introduction of the Social Partnership Public Procurement Act as well, we worked really closely with our procurement supply chain teams to make sure and to help them understand the wellbeing objectives that we at TFW set, and make sure that their questions, their thinking, their contract commitments all reflect the better opportunities through the Act.
Croeso to GreenWales, the channel celebrating the people, businesses and projects building a greener, fairer Wales. Every week we speak to organisations creating real solutions aligned to the Future Generations Act and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Helping Wales lead the way in sustainability and innovation, let's meet today's guest.
Sure thing, Bore da. My name is Dan Edwards. I am the Sustainable Impact Manager for Transport for Wales. My role mainly involves using the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act to help support the decision making, the community engagement, and all aspects, areas, including procurement of Transport for Wales' operations, services, and policies and procedures. Day to day, that can be sort of on the ground support of decisions with our executive teams through the plan of works. That can also help support the return on investment socially through the sort of measures of social value. And it can also involve the decision making again in the procurement, ensuring that our procurement better supports the local economy, better supports the people that we're supporting, and also better supports the environment where we can.
That's great. And procurement is probably the biggest area of change at the moment and most difficult, because we always talk about scope 1, scope 2, scope 3.
Absolutely.
Procurement is all your scope 3, and it's the hardest one to control. You could do the easy things yourself, as in the things that you can control directly.
Yep.
But scope 3 always seems to be the one that is hardest to control. I am starting to see now bigger organizations now starting to take control. And the easiest way is procurement, isn't it?
It is. It's one of our sort of key focuses for the last 6 months, and we're going onwards, of course, but especially with the introduction of the Social Partnership Public Procurement Act as well, we worked really closely with our procurement supply chain teams to make sure and to help them understand the wellbeing objectives that we at TFW set, and make sure that their questions, their thinking, their contract commitments all reflect the better opportunities through the Act.
Yeah, and with your job, it sounds massive, if I'm being honest.
It's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, pretty full on. And are you in the sustainability team at TFW? Is that how it works, like department-wise?
There is, yeah. There's a sustainability team. I'd say there's about 10 of us all together.
Wow.
Anyone who watches this from my team that I've forgotten about, I apologise. But we're split between a sort of almost a compliance type areas where we look at the immediate effects of the Environmental Act and how we can better reduce our impact on ecology, biodiversity, of decarbonisation, our energy systems, our environmental systems, pollution, waste, recording, things like that. And we've also got also, of course, I can't forget our heritage and culture leads and supporting our graded buildings, our natural environment, our historic environment, of course. But then it's also the more policy side, which I kind of sit on, I think, which falls along with the Wellbeing Act, of course. And helping us to understand the policy, translate that into an operational sense to project managers who are fantastic at their jobs, but they are very direct. They're very not limited, but they're very focused on their scope, quality, and financial builds. And we're working on quality, but also benefits and the outcomes of that as well in terms of project management. So we're just expanding that thinking, translating that language from policy into operation.
And policy is one of the most difficult areas, I think, because there's not so much the buck stops with you, but you create the buck. You create the conditions in which everybody else works in.
Yeah.
So the pressure is absolutely there on policy, and if you don't get the policy right, then the action which you're trying to achieve doesn't happen.
We are very aware of TFW. It does sometimes get lost, and we can sometimes get lost into a silo of where we work, and we're focusing on sort of the CVL or the South Wales Metro. Can be a bit of a prime example of that, but we are very much Wales cross borders as well. That plays in a different type of policy. We are led by the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, but then translating that into our colleagues across the border and things does get interesting, fun. It's fully engaging, and they do engage with us on it as well, which is always a positive. But
And you're a leader. That's right. You're a pioneer, and Wellbeing for Generations Act is the first in the world and still is. And I think it's something to be incredibly proud of. Doesn't mean it's not difficult sometimes, you say, trying to explain some of the decisions you make because they're not defined by the same sort of rules.
Yeah.
And then we talk about North and South Wales. We might have the South Wales Metro and electrification, but in North Wales now there's an electrified bus system of Transport for Wales. I was talking to National Grid yesterday, and that collaboration and partnership right there.
Absolutely, collaboration, involvement as well with our buses as well. I know the teams went out there, did a huge amount of involvement on what communities want to see from their bus network, how we get better connected, but also looking at the sort of the innovative side, which isn't in the ways of working, but we have to be innovative because what works in the South Wales region will not work in the North Wales region, so we do look at things like bus and a better connectivity.
Even west to East Wales, isn't it?
West and East as well. We're looking at more longer distances there, so it plays very different games.
Yeah, and there's some places like South Wales Valleys has very good railway infrastructure, and West Wales does have quite a decent structure,
absolutely.
But it doesn't go into all the veins of West Wales. And then when you go north, that north-south divide can throw up its own issues as well. But come on, let's jump into a little question then. So when you think about the future, what's one thing you really hope Wales gets right?
What I hope it gets right, and what we are working towards, and I can see it across, is working as a system. Transport for Wales is a big part of that system, as we understand it, but working alongside our partners, our PSB partners, our CJC partners in the NHS and the health sector, in local authorities and sort of the active travel sectors as well, so that when TFW is making a decision, and it's in part of our objectives to make it good for people, that we do consider their health, their access to the NHS, their access to active travel, is it safe to walk? Does that bring down the air quality then? So using that as a part of system thinking. And we are on the journey there. I just hope it continues in the future, it gets easier, gets better. And
transparency is key, is being honest. We were walking down here and we're saying, we're trying loads of things out this year. Some things are going really well. We had a good few days with certain systems, and then we had our water supplier let us down yesterday.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden we had no water. I'm like, oh my God, we have to make an older decision, which we would not normally make. But you're in a live environment. Transport is a live, reactive environment. You don't plan for a train to break down. You don't plan for a bus to break down. There's so many things that can come at you and sort of change what you're doing that it comes out of nowhere. I will say as well, living in Treorchy as a Rhondda boy, I've seen the Treorchy train station change quite dramatically. Not so much the platform itself. There's changes on the platform, but it's the access to the train. So the car park, it went from no spaces, or I think 3, that were yonder year. And I think I want to say 50, but I think it might even be more than that. But you can see I think they're called suds, where if it's extreme rainfall, there's places there's wildflower meadow built into the car park.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and we know the benefits of suds is expands upon it. How I explain it back to the project teams is, yes, it's great for biodiversity. It is a wildflower, or can be used as a wildflower garden. It will reduce a bit of flooding, depending on the scope of the size of the flood.
And that's a mosaic, isn't it, that needs to happen around it, but you're partly playing towards that.
Yeah, and you sort of move on as well. That does then lead to our accessibility and our passenger safety. We're reducing the risk of slips, trips, and falls, and just makes it easier for people to hopefully access the network.
Yeah, it's like a walk up and go system then, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can have that expansion there, and it's good for the whole community, and it's not like you don't charge for people to park there.
No.
That's a really important part of access, because if people go, oh, it's £1 an hour or whatever, all of a sudden you're cutting off
just putting up barriers that you don't want to put
up. Yeah, and it's got to be as easy as possible, isn't it?
Absolutely. Part of the sort of, when we talk about reliability, we talk about, yes, the reliability of the train actually running, but the reliability that you're not going to be there waiting for so long. You've got a maximum wait of then, if you just miss it, you've got 15 minutes before that.
Exactly. So it's going to be more like 10 minutes, isn't it? The average, which is just great. And there's a tap and go as well, which I thought was really clever. You just tap on, tap off system too, so it's easier to get a ticket as well. So what's a project, idea or change you've seen recently that made you think we need more of this?
So I suppose the CVL is a bit of the South Wales Metro is probably a big...
Thank you. I need that.
Going back to...
we need that. Yeah.
Going back to being stuck in the office. That is a huge transformation for Transport for Wales, for the South Wales Valleys. As I say, we can't quite pick that up and use that across Wales. We use that thinking, use that innovation. We came across barriers in South Wales through the tunnels where we had discontinuous electrification where we got to switch off, flip into a battery, then head back onto the lines. So there is that innovative thinking. Of course, there's barriers, live environment.
Yes.
There's been issues, it is a bit later than we originally thought it was going to take, but we will get there.
Of course, COVID.
COVID mild
COVID's to blame for a lot of disruption for everything, yeah.
It's hard not to blame COVID, but
it's part of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's increased costs as well then, because supply chains went up. There's so many things with COVID. It wasn't just the fact that stay at home and isolation, it's reduced revenue for income, it's getting confidence back up in people coming, so it's not like everybody starts catching the train again. You did have to shut the railway for a while to be able to electrify, which gets people's habits out, there's loads of reasons with COVID,
But yeah, take that, so not the metro itself, but take that thinking, that innovation and apply it to other places in Wales, north, south, west. I can't say much about the Mid Wales at the moment. I know that's being looked at and sort of how can that be improved.
Yeah.
But yeah, take that innovative thinking, and then using, because we were named in the Act in 2024, July 2024, April 2024, it was a blur. But use the Wellbeing Act then as our pure thinking. Not just because we are named in it and we legally have to do it, we've always aspired to do that, but now we have that sort of robustness, we have our wellbeing objectives, we have the tools and the systems thinking to better apply that now.
So in a lot of ways, actually, the idea in the project is the framework of the embedding of the Future Generations Act into Transport for Wales' everyday working.
Yeah, and that's the aim of it. I mean, our 4 objectives are being good for people, being good for the environment, being good for the language and culture, and being good for the sort of the local areas and local economy, and that feeds into pretty much everything that TFW can and will touch.
And I've definitely seen a change from the privatisation from, the public ownership going from Arriva over to Transport for Wales. There's been a pretty big change in the way that even the platforms are being looked after, just the general maintenance and the respectability of the whole thing. It's an investment in the people of Wales, And yes, there are things that are quite Cardiff-centric, but that's because of population densities, etc. That's where you spend more money. And I know with Cardiff, they're looking at doing a tram system in Cardiff Bay.
Yeah.
That's like a new part of the add-on to the system, but that means then there'd be less reason to drive in the city.
And that's the hope, that's the aim. Yeah.
And I think that's why they chose, you correct me here, they chose the tram-style trains then because of that future upgrade, so it can go from the valleys to Cardiff Bay and up and around that new area, and it'll be on a walk on and go.
Yeah, the aim is to do more of the light tram system that you will be more recognisable around the European countries that you just see. So it'll be running from the Cardiff Central, generally along the roads, and hopefully on a green line, but I'm working on that.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm working on it.
But that's the whole thing. That's the big thing about the Wellbeing Future Generations Act. We're 10 years in. We are pioneers. We are working on it. Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have it and we have a framework and we have a structure, we're on our way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. We're not going backwards here. We are going forwards. We might not be. I think we are getting from a jog to a sprint with it,
I think so.
in certain areas. I know Derek Walker, the Future Generations Commissioner, is currently looking at Public Health Wales and how councils operate. I think if he gets this right in the next 10 years, there's already a game changer in the last 10 years, but this will change the game entirely, and we exist to sort of show people how the Wellbeing Future Generations Act actually be embedded on the ground, because it doesn't get enough credit where credit's due. It's buried.
It is.
And some people don't realise, like, the curriculum in primary schools is all built for the Wellbeing Future Generations Act. No one's banging that drum.
No, and that's
why I'm here.
Yeah.
Bang my back.
Yeah. And that is that's one of my aims as well as part of TFW is. It's difficult to say, but there's been, over the last 10 years, there has been, I think, a real struggle to bang that drum, as you say, but also put the real measures in place. So, like, how have we made that impact? And that is also what I'm working on. So I'm looking at social return on investment. So
nice.
We spend a lot of money in TFW. Our current KPIs do look at sort of passenger safety, but I want to embed that into, okay, how do we go from a delivery output to a outcome?
Yeah,
so what is the
it's
outcome?
Like a social value outcome, isn't it?
Essentially, yeah. So how is that? What is the outcome for enabling people to get to museums, get to sports, get to gigs? How's it improving? Yeah, how's it improving their health? Yes, that carbon's coming down. What does it actually mean for air quality? How's that mean for the local?
And again, when you think about we talk about scope 3 and procurement and buying things locally, that you're going to be if all goes well, you'll be putting money back into Wales, back into local supply chains.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest way to lift a reputational gain and to get respectability, but also get that second-hand social value as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we look at we have a massive supply chain, but we look at local employment. We do look at the sort of employment numbers and how much we can invest into that local company.
Yeah.
But we also look at how can they, as part of the contract, promote work experience to local community,
Nice.
universities, colleges, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
How can they provide upskilling, or also how can we look at bespoke Welsh language training if you are delivering things on the ground, that we can sort of improve that language. Obviously, we do look at their carbon reports and things like that.
But that's a part of it as well, because you don't want to work with a company that is basically is not embedding the well-being for generations out themselves.
Also try to make sure that's not a barrier. So if it's a very small company or a third sector enterprise, we do say, do you have a carbon reduction plan? They'd be like, oh no, okay, what can you tell us to that you
help you on that way.
help you on that journey?
Oh, that's great.
What do you already do? So we don't do like a pass-fail, yes, no, okay, absolutely right, you are.
Or
no,
just,
how can we help
pull
you?
the shutter down. Sorry, talk to us when you're sorting it out.
Or what do you actually do? Because 90% of the time they actually do it. They may not just have.
They just don't know.
Policy writers put it down on the paper. There's huge decisions we can make now. I hate to go back to the South Wales Metro, but you can see how that's influenced us now, how that's impacting us now, and hopefully how that will carry on.
Yeah,
and only improve.
We're in North Wales right now, so let's use the North Wales bus. Is it what I say? It's a Flexi. Is that what it's called?
The Flexibus. Yes, I was actually involved in that in a different life when I started in marketing and branding, actually in transport for years. My background was sustainability, but open doors.
Yeah, exactly. And that. So the buses are all electric.
They are all electric.
Yeah.
They are purposely 16, 24 seaters. It has evolved a little bit since I was involved in it, so I'll do my best to represent it.
Yeah.
But yes, all electric, local businesses, local running. I remember being on a call with a CEO of the company at the time who actually had to say, sorry, got to go, I'm driving the bus. You go for it.
That's amazing. But that's great because that means you're not you're not running yourself, doing it yourself, cutting everybody else around you, making bad relationships. Then you're going, what's already there? What's the infrastructure? How can we support the local economy?
Yeah.
And then you're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first set it up, we were speaking to the local businesses, what works for you. This is our sort of platform. What is the area that you can best serve?
Yeah.
What is the best kind of bus? I think we wanted 16 to 24 was the options for them because they know the drive far better than I do sitting in an office.
And a huge coach
will
not work in parts of North Wales, but if you have these small, because I know in the Rhondda they're small, exactly the same, sort of 16, 24 seater buses, and the streets they get into, my God. But it works.
Yeah, helping the local businesses promote Flexi through themselves and putting the call centre in so there is conversations because it was very online service led.
Right.
COVID impacts.
Yes.
But we did establish a call centre and pass out the numbers and just try to make it as easy as possible for people.
And you're using older methods, but actually why try and force a new method on when the old one works as well? So giving more options is better, isn't it?
If it works, it works.
Yeah. So where do you think we're still solving problems too late instead of preventing them earlier?
You're from New York, you've seen the impacts of storm.
Whichever one it was. Derek,
the last four, I think that hit the Rhondda and hit Pontypridd over the last 5 years, I'd say. 6 years.
Yeah.
Treforest getting wiped out pretty much when I was down there helping out people's homes.
Is that when Pontypridd got flooded? The Lido got flooded.
Yeah. There is some good preventative action there that the local authorities have, supported the homeowners through sandbags and the like, but I'm still not seeing enough sort of acceleration on the support on the TAF.
Adaptation of the
TAF. Yeah. I know it's on the cards and I know it's been worked on, but I think we do need to see that sort of acceleration.
Yeah. It's extreme weather, isn't it? Because right now we've just broke records for the hottest May ever recorded.
And that's had an absolute impact on our services as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it has, because it would have heated up the railway lines.
Heated up the railways, warped them a little bit, we can't run.
My God, yeah, and that's all part of that adaptation then, isn't it? And we need to adapt. It's restoring the wiggle, isn't it, in all these rivers that we actually have.
It is,
which would be really important.
So it's a very difficult one to answer. I think there is good movement, sort of, again, across the board, and that's how I want to see us in the future, is working across the board as a system. It's just the sort of acceleration of the...
And when we say across the board, do you mean NHS, councils, local government, Transport for Wales, National Grid?
National Grid. Absolutely.
That's going to be a pretty important one because the amount of electricity you're consuming now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just the sort of the acceleration. We know what's happening. I personally, this is a personal opinion, I just think it's just a bit slow.
Yeah, no, and I would actually agree with you there. The issue is budgets are so tight everywhere. It's everything's competing for the same pot of money, isn't it? And the pot of money, either it might have gone up, but inflation, etc., is outstripping what's going out. So in realistic terms, we are going through cuts at the moment. So the best thing we can do is try and make Wales as prosperous as possible to raise money for the coffers of government and councils, which then hope, and what you do hope is the actions that Transport for Wales has been doing through electrification, through the flexi-bus service in North Wales, gives more access, creates more prosperity, creates more connectivity, creates more ideas, and then that is like a grassroots bed for innovation and a successful economy, really.
Yeah. Do you want to come with us?
I'd love to, yeah. With Transport for Wales, how long has that procurement sort of journey been for like getting away from maybe older contracts to going more local, more sustainable contracts? How far away are you into that journey at the moment?
It has been sort of an aim. I'd say we were never named under the Act until 2024, but it's been our ambition to support the Welsh economy, the local businesses.
Yeah.
The nature of our early contracts, the big infrastructure, new trains, that type of supply chain isn't in Wales. So I did sort of.
Yes.
But then we looked at how they can then bring in SMEs. I think there was a Newport was established to actually assemble the trains. So we managed to create a business there from a large contract. But certainly over the last year and a half, we really managed to accelerate our work with the procurement teams, supply chain, in preparation, luckily, under the Social Partnership Public Procurement Act. We saw that as an opportunity. All right, let's get the well-being.
We're doing it.
We're already doing it. Let's get the well-being objectives right on the top of that. Let's use those as our anchor to feed the objectives.
Template.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That fed the template, that's led into the training, that's led into the heat mapping, that's led into
I was
the whole
about
process.
to ask, because normally a procurement team or anybody being brought along with it, it's great to have your sustainable leaders and we needed those, but now it's that knowledge has to come through everybody, your train conductors, your procurement team, everybody has to get that training. So your procurement team have been through some retraining then to help them make those right decisions now for wellbeing future generations.
Updating training, and also it's about opening the conversation as well. So when they do begin a procurement contract or even pre-procurement contract, generally myself or one of my team members were in the room discussing it with the I don't know how to best describe them, but say the SME, the procurer, the person who's buying the stuff.
Okay, cool.
And then we talk through what the risks, what the opportunities, what is high, low value.
Why are we doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, why are we doing it? And what more can we not get out of the contract, but what more can we contribute and get into sort of give and take with them?
And and when you say that, it's like there's a lot of benefits that people don't dig up.
Yeah.
That, and when we say social value, it's how does society, how do we benefit from this thing? And you've talked about employability, you talked about education, I talk about stability in the home. Someone being able to put food on the table, someone being able to buy a car, someone being able to put a couch on the floor, someone being able to feed their kids, someone being able for their kids to go to university. People need a stable life, and that for me, that's the best social value you can give. Because if someone's got a stable life, they can then open up to sustainability more. Yeah. If someone's always struggling to put food on the table, always going, I can't fix this car again because this car is absolutely knackered in the first place, and it's always in the MOT, so I can't get to work in the first place, which means I can't earn any money. You can't have a conversation about sustainability with them.
No, they will pretty much laugh you out of the room, to be honest. So,
they've got.
Can you be greener? Oh, get out. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So what we want to look at, so again, we look at skills, providing opportunities for good jobs, providing that work experience, so that the transition from education can then be translated to a real world, hopefully good job or continuous job, or at least a stable. The quality of life of the person we're impacting, and that comes through. Is the air quality better through more trees for that? But you say incremental change, lower pollution, incremental change, build that momentum, make it easier for people to be more sustainable, be open to the sustainability. Yeah,
and that is what the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act is. Yes, there's well-being because it's your happiness.
Yes.
When people say, how's your well-being? They go, like, no. It's not serious, but it's really important. You being okay as a person is, like, if I'm stressed and I've got no time and I'm trying to, and I'm sleep deprived and I have an unhealthy life, how can I look after myself and how can I look after anybody else around me? You can't. So having well-being and your Future Generations Act means you're looking after now and you're looking after the future. So I really loved that part. That was great. I'll get off my box now. Hold on. Let me just get off it. So One last big question, and there is a lovely bonus question at the end.
Oh, thank you.
Don't prepare anybody for, so
Okay.
good luck on that one. So if Wales made one bold long-term decision tomorrow, what would you want it to be?
I think both professionally and personally, I think it would be a great benefit to be more devolution, especially in the railways for us, or transport as a whole. It would open a lot more conversations. We have great partnerships with our partners, such as Network Rail, who are with us today, and across the board with our local authorities with it. But having that devolution, that control of the Welsh railway network, would enable us to be a lot more, hopefully, innovative, forward-thinking, forward-looking, a bit less reactive, and a bit more independent, I suppose.
Well,
without lack of saying the independence word or anything.
Yeah, but independence only works when you can prove that devolution works.
Yeah. But I suppose independent on our decision making. We'll still involve people, we'll still collaborate, but we have that sort of that top level decision idea, strategic thinking, which we then can anchor around our wellbeing objectives.
Could I
around
ask,
our social purpose.
this might be a testing question, but if I said to you, if it was devolved, okay, say you had control, is there an easy thing you're like, I would do this immediately and this would make things better? Or is there a project you'd like to look at and entertain immediately? Just to give people at home a bit of a grasp of what that actually means. Because they can hear this, but they don't work with Network Rail. They don't quite understand what that would actually mean on the ground,
If fully devolved and I had unlimited budget.
Yeah, sky's the limit.
Barna fell away and it was just fantastic. We had billions. I really like the Carmarthen Aberystwyth potential. And then pushing that then Aberystwyth to Bangor, just on the road, opening up that West Wales North-South connection.
Yeah, sorry, I had an interview earlier and they said this.
And they said that.
This is what they wanted.
Yep.
So to talk to somebody in TFW that actually is like, if we devolved it, we could at least entertain that idea and actually start moving towards that.
I will have to caveat, it's a personal
billions
opinion.
Of pounds.
Billions and billions and billions of pounds.
But, and it's normally, we talk about the South Wales Metro, you've got that now, the next phase is then Cardiff Bay and doing that. It's done in phases.
It's in phases.
It's done over a generation, isn't it?
So we're looking at the Network North Wales phase as well, which hopefully brings that better connectivity across the coastline into Liverpool. But if I was
a magic wand,
I would look at that connection. I would also then want to speed up the Heart of Wales line. Beautiful line. But gives that connection then across the country.
That's not electrified currently, is it?
No.
So actually electrification of that would be probably a good next step.
It would be a good next step. That would come through devolution or Network Rail plans at the moment.
What's great is with the devolution of the transport, actually more of Wales benefits.
I think so.
It's not just isolated pockets, because everyone always gets all the South Wales valleys, gets everything, and you're just like, it sort of does look like that.
It sort of does look like
that. It's geography, like North Wales,
Yeah.
you can see about the flexi bus service, that's a great upgrade. It works in the confines that it finds itself in geographically.
Because we do also have the Traws Cymru buses that we can't forget about as well, which hopefully...
Thank you. I would, because I don't know.
The Traws Cymru buses, the long-range buses that we manage as well on behalf of Traws Cymru. You may have seen the branding on there.
Yes, I have seen the branding. Yeah, thank you.
No worries. But yeah, because of TFW itself, we own the South Wales Valleys lines. So that is why there's quite a lot of investment now. We have that more decision making. Yes, it's geography and not demographics, population down there as well.
Yes, but it's population density, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, having that devolution of transport would give us more opportunities, I believe, to push forward with all the grand ambitions.
It's great to have ambition, and it's great to have forward thinking of, we have to be aggressively forward thinking in order to get to the places we need to be. So it's great you're in the position that you're in because you have that ambition, and we need people like yourself, which is why you're on this show. So thank you for that. The last question I'm going to ask
just you. Just need that magic wand.
You just need that magic wand. And I won't say it's devolution, because actually we need that and money.
Yes. So 100%. Money
it's not one without the other. Okay.
Unfortunately.
And that's when we get prosperity and all the rest. When we hope that comes with that now happens over time, long term, with electrification of the rail, and there's a system that's put into place. So my last question to you is, and you can do personal with this one as well, if we're led by who we go and interview, by the people that we interview. So I was asked to go and see Transport for Wales. So that's why I approached you in the first place. So if you were to recommend me to go and see somebody, this can be grassroots. So it could be a supplier. It could be an organisation that's a leader within Wales. who would you send me to go and see and why? And then I will go out and see them if they say yes.
Since it's in your area as well, Ish, I would recommend Janet at Cunnan Valley Organics in Abercunnan.
Okay, cool. I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. I've actually seen Janet. She's got an tell me. Go on, tell the viewer all about it.
She's amazing. Very passionate, super knowledgeable, but she's leading a community-led project. Involves green skills, upskilling local schools, local communities, organic growing. So she's got an orchard down there. Since I've been down there 2.5 years ago, all I've understand is greatly expanded. She was also impacted by the storm Betty.
Yes, because she's right on the riverways.
Right on the river line, but she has, I believe she's recovered really well, bounced back and really done great things with the help of the local community as well. And I believe she's got a fantastic hobbit house that you should just check out.
Is it there?
Yeah, I say hobbit house. Yeah,
it's like a round house. Yeah. Amazing. I was there when? Probably 2021, 2022 last. Yeah. So it's been a little while. When I was first on my sustainability journey, I was looking at what was around where I lived, and I went to go and see her, and I was blown away then by what she's achieved. And she's a force of...
She is a force of nature.
But she's great.
Yeah.
You know, and she's straight talking, which I love. I love people who are honest.
Yeah.
And she's a realist, but she's also incredibly ambitious and amazingly putting a lot of value back into Abercunnan and the people there. And I think giving them a strong, a sustainable leader who's given a strong future as well. So she'll be great for the grassroots.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, right, last thing for you. Got a little gift.
Oh.
So as part of being on here, so we only interview people who are doers and people who do things. So we give everybody a little pin badge for GreenWales.
So that is thank you very much.
Being part of the collective is that you can be proud of being a part of Doers in Wales. I counted last night, we've got 30 people in the collective since January now. And we also put you as part of something, and this might actually really help you. We do something called the Collaboration Station. We try and connect people together. So that might be supply chain things. We got like Wool Insulation Wales that do a plastic-free installation, which is done all via 100% wool, and it's done to the location of the site that you're working on, and they give Welsh farmers 400% more value, up to 400% more value into their wool, so it helps society, captures carbon and VOCs. Volatile organic compounds.
That's it. Took me a second.
I'm going to get there. Please subscribe at home, because the more people that subscribe, the more exposure companies, people, leaders, everything gets in Wales, the more successful Wales becomes. Everybody we interviewed is aligned to the Wellbeing and Future Generations Act in one way, shape or form. And the interesting thing is all the different companies we go and see, whether that's housing associations, whether that's small businesses, whether that's charities. Like there's one called Go Run that played against sport, that tackles sports poverty, Transport for Wales, Derek Walker, Jane Davidson, all these different people in Wales. If you think there's only 3 million people in Wales, I am so inspired by the people that I go and see. And we're up in North Wales at the moment, doing a North Wales special. And yeah, it's equally as fantastic up here. And it's been amazing, the strength of the Welsh language within the interviews. It's been really inspiring.
Dwi'n dysgu Cymraeg, I'm afraid.
Tipyn bach.
Tipyn bach.
Dim siarad Cymraeg, but I try my best, you know. I think we're all on that journey, and that's what's amazing being here. It's all about encouraging growth within Welsh culture and language. So the last thing to do is to say thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish?
No, just thank you for having me. It's nice to have that conversation.
It's nice to talk about the Wellbeing Food Generation.
It is, yeah.
No one gets to speak about it enough, you know. So the fact that you got to bang the drum today, and hopefully your colleagues at home are seeing this and going, wow, that's really cool. And we'll ask you questions. If someone wanted to find out more about the work that you're doing, maybe a Wellbeing Future Generations Act, is there a website they could look at on Transport for Wales?
You can find our wellbeing statement on our Transport for Wales website. We also have, or will be updating our case studies of community projects that we have done over the last so many years.
Yeah, last few years.
Last few years.
Yeah.
We will also be expanding on case studies on our sort of larger infrastructure projects, or the pockets of our infrastructure projects where we can actually measure those outcomes, as I want to keep looking at.
Yes.
But yeah, check out our wellbeing statements. We're going to be refreshing it based on conversations that we have with people up in here today, over the year. And we really want to make sure that's sort of reflective of what people in Wales want from a transport network.
Yeah.
And use that then to help shape our decision making. So honestly, it's a real your voice matters type thing within our statement.
Amazing. And if you've seen this, you're like, I want to be a supplier for Transport for Wales. don't be afraid, but to reach out, isn't it?
Do not be afraid to reach out. If you are a supplier that wants to reach out to Transport for Wales, we also have our social partnership public procurement pages on the website as well, which then also links back to our Wellbeing and Future Generations Act. And the more you can bring that into TFW, I mean, it's just going to be better for everyone.
Yeah, and years ago, I was a community rail officer for Transport for Wales, just before the electrification happened. And there's lots of opportunity for community to get involved, for support. I won't say funding per se, but it might be grants, it might be in-kind sort of support as well. It varies, isn't it?
Yeah, we do a lot of volunteering with our community rail officers, our community rail champions. There's certainly opportunities there across the network. I think all the information there is on the website as well.
Just don't be afraid to reach out no matter what you're doing. If you've got an idea, always feel inspired. Every individual has a voice, and I think it's really important that other people in Wales has the confidence to be able to reach out to their bigger networks and not be afraid to do so. So please do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Second person who shook my hand on the show ever.
Oh, okay.
Bye.